Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God. Amen. So do you know why the priest passed by the other side and he didn't help the Good Samaritan? Do you know why? Why he didn't help the man on the side of the road? Because someone had already robbed him. That's a joke. It's a priest joke. It's a joke about priests. You're okay to laugh at that. So this is a great parable, one of the greatest parables of Christ. It comes up several times. We even have a Sunday before Lent. It gets read a lot. I want to meditate on a particular idea today that has to do with this parable. And that is the so-called virtue of being nice. In American society, it's a very big deal to be nice to people, right? And people are praised, like, oh, he's a nice guy, And, we teach our kids to be nice to people. But niceness is a very tricky animal, because most often being nice is a smokescreen so that you don't have to be compassionate. Because it's very easy to be nice. Being nice doesn't really cost you anything. It doesn't require very much of you. And in fact, you don't really need to come to church to learn how to be a nice person, right? The Gospels are not given to us so that we can be nice, but that so we can be transformed, so that we can be virtuous and great, so we can be something extraordinary. Being nice is just being a decent, normal human being. And the problem with niceness is that it's often engaged upon for selfish reasons. We're often nice to people so that we can feel good about ourselves. And we're often nice so that we can deflect any voices of criticism, whether it's from outside or whether it's our own conscience. That we're a good person and everything's okay and we don't have to really do much more than what we're doing. You see, and so niceness is a way to get ourselves off the hook for things. Because I'm a nice guy, so why are you being so hard on me? I'm a nice guy, don't criticize me. The problem is, being nice did not save the man who was half dead on the side of the road. That man did not need a nice guy. That man needed a good man, like the Samaritan. I mean, think about what he did for him. He didn't just, pat him on the back and say, there, I'm sorry, give him some kind of empty words, right? What did he do? He did something, didn't he? He bandaged his wounds up, right? Poured on oil and wine. So he's spending his own time and his own money. And then he takes him and puts him on his own beast, and he walks instead of riding on his donkey, right? And then he takes him to an inn, right? And then he pays for him to be there. And he says, whatever debts he incurs, I'll take care of them. That is going the extra mile for somebody you don't know. And that's extraordinary. What's also important about this message is that this Samaritan is a stranger to the man on the side of the road. And this is important in the theology of Christ when he's preaching. He says, what credit is to you if you love those who love you? Because, even the Gentiles do that. What does he call us to do in the Gospels? To love our enemies, right? And to love the stranger, which is at the core of what hospitality is about. Hospitality is about welcoming the stranger in. And you can think of the Eucharist as the kind of cosmic celebration of hospitality. Because you have man who is estranged from God, who God welcomes to a feast at his table, in his house, and makes him his friend. That's hospitality. And that's real love, is reaching out beyond yourself, reaching out to the other, right? It's easy to what? To love ourselves, right? Because it's just our little sphere of our ego. And it's a little bit harder, but it's not that hard to love those who love you, whom you're in love with, your family, your friends, people who are close to you, right? But the real challenge of love, and the kind of love that God demonstrates for us in the life of Christ, is one that reaches out and loves the other, the unknown, the stranger, and the one who can't love you back or won't love you back. And that's what the cross represents, is Christ on the cross dying for a people whom he was trying to love. And he came, being God, knowing that that would happen, and did it anyways. See, that's not being nice. That's compassion. Every time in the Gospels, and it says it repeatedly, especially in the Gospel of Luke, he had compassion. And what immediately follows that? Action. Action. Not nice thoughts or empty words, but a type of action that really costs you something. And so I want us all to think about this parable of the Good Samaritan, particularly with this kind of distraction about niceness that we have in our culture. Because what we really need is to move beyond that. Our world is not going to become a better place. Great social issues like poverty and racism and violence are not going to go away by being nice. It's not enough. And you know what? Broken families and successful marriages, niceness isn't enough to fix one or to guarantee the other. It's just not. Our world doesn't need more nice people. It needs more people like the Good Samaritan, who live out sacrificial love. And this is the challenge of the gospel and the challenge of this particular parable here, is that we're called to move beyond niceness, you know. We're called not to be a church of a bunch of nice people, but of truly good and transformed people. Sometimes people are very critical of the church, and they distance themselves from a church community and stop believing, or stop belonging at least, because they feel that Christians are nothing but nice, right? They're nice, but nothing else, you know? And there's a lot of other nice people out there. Or the niceness is just a show. When the rubber meets the road and a real sacrifice is required, those Christians or that church was not there for me. And that's the danger of putting our confidence in niceness or other kind of lesser virtues like that. And what we're really called to is compassion, sacrificial love, and giving of ourselves for someone else whom we don't know or who might even hate us. Glory to Jesus Christ.